$113,070 revenue in the last 60 days. Over 2,000 orders in the last 60 days. If you're new here, hi guys, I'm simply Shawna, and I opened my Etsy shop just a little under 3 years ago. I connected it with a POD or print on demand partner. It was a really slow first 8 or 9 months, but since then it has been a steady climb up. I make designs with a software app like Kittl. I place those designs on pictures of shirts on mock-ups that I purchased off of Etsy, and I list them in my shop. When I make a sale, my POD or print on demand partner prints it up and ships it out for me. And all I have to do is say thank you to my customer. If you're a regular around here, you know that I had made a goal for this year to double my profits from last year. Last year, my second full calendar year on Etsy, I was able to make $100,000 profit in my shop. So this year, I am going for $200,000 profit. We are going to go over some numbers in this video so you can see just how I'm doing. My results could be possible for any of us. Truly, they really can be possible for any of us. Do remember, I am a former 4th grade teacher. I had zero business background, and I had zero experience with market research and designing. My experience with Etsy prior to my opening my Etsy shop was a handful of times my jumping on there and buying something personalized for a family member. I decided to document this journey this year, month by month, on how things are going in the shop, because I have always found it so inspiring to watch others, and that's what really kept me going through all of those hard times when I was not making any sales, knowing that it was possible, and if other people could do it, then I probably could too. So I hope that's what you'll take from this video as well, that you can do this also. We are going to be looking at the growth that the shop had August and September, the last 60 days. I'm going to be telling you, 1, exactly what my revenue and profit numbers were. 2, I will reveal one of the niches that was responsible for many of the orders that I received in August and early September. 3, I will share what my listing has looked like and some of the other strategies I am currently employing in my shop, so that you get a full picture of what has all come together to be responsible for the sales that are happening. And 4th, we'll take a quick peek back in time and we will compare this September and August to 2021 and 2022 so that you can see the growth over time. And this is where I hope that you'll see how little I was doing and how exponential the growth can become. And that is why this is worth all of the time that you're spending in the beginning so that you can have the big payoff later. Welcome to my shop stats, guys. Here we're looking at August, the monthly report. You can get to this screen by going into your dashboard and over to the left. You can get to finances, I think the tab is, and then into your monthly reports. I've selected August of 2023, and you'll see that the net profit is $46,644.92 for August. The net profit is what we really want. That's the number we want. That's what Etsy paid to me. Now I still have to pay my print on demand company, but that number, we've already taken out anything that we had to do with refunds, and I have that kind of box there so you can look at that number. And then I have also all my fees, the listing fees, the transaction fees, the processing fees, which came to a total of $6,529. And then I have marketing, and we'll address the Etsy ads that I'm running toward the end of the video. But in August, I did spend $5,945 on my Etsy ads. So after you've taken all of that into consideration, Etsy paid me out for the month of August, after keeping all of those things that I owed them, $46,644. And jumping over to September, I made $41,172 net profit for that month. The refunds and the sales tax that Etsy took out and took care of those things for me. The fees that they took out were $5,966. You can see a breakdown of each of the 3 types of fees underneath. And then my Etsy ads for the month of September was $6,581. When I first started looking at these kinds of reports, before I kind of figured this out and found this one, I was trying to deduct all of those things myself, but Etsy does all the math there for you. If you just take a look there toward the top, they will give you your net profit, and that is after they have taken out the taxes that they collected on our behalf and remitted to it's the sales tax collected by states. You still have to pay your personal taxes, whatever that comes to at the end of the year. But whatever was owed to the state that people were purchasing from, Etsy has collected that on our behalf and is sending it that way. Now, don't let those numbers burn holes in your pocket just yet. We need to go over and pay our print-on-demand partners for all of those materials and all of that shipping, and for the fact that they're doing all that work for us, printing it and shipping it out. I use two print-on-demand partners. I use Printful and I use Printify. Over in Printful, you could go to the left on your dashboard, find statistics, and then filter by the date you'd like, and you'll find that filter selection over in the right-hand corner of your screen. I went ahead and did this for both August and September, and I spent $33,169.78 on all of my items getting printed and shipped in August. And then in September, I spent $30,026.42. Then I've got to head over to Printify. On the left, you'll find a spot that says Wallet. Then you will have an opportunity to select payments. And then at the top of your screen, you can select summary invoices. Here I can get to my monthly summary invoices. In August, I spent $280 with Printify. And in September, I spent $538 with Printify. After I've crunched the numbers, we will find that in August, I had a profit of $16,338.08. And in September, I had a profit of $7,464.77. Together for those 2 months, I had around $113,000 revenue, and my profit was $23,802. Now I have here in the graphic, you'll see what my profit was each month this year. Remember, my goal is to make $200,000 profit. You might have noticed that my numbers for September plummeted. I made less than $8,000 profit in September while making almost double that in August at $16,000 profit. Whenever I am looking at my numbers and watching growth over time and comparing from one month to the next, I am constantly reflecting on what happened 30 to 45 to even 60 days ago that caused what's happening, whether it be an incline or a decline. And I have done just that, and I have identified 4 things that are going on in my shop that might be going on in yours as well, that have played a part in my September numbers plummeting. Identifying this is going to help me get out of this nosedive and start climbing again. And I definitely plan on doing something about it. So don't go anywhere. I am going to address this. I'm going to tell you the 4 things I believe have played a role into this and what I'm going to do about it. I will be doing a numbers report for October and November and for the month of December. So if you want to see how I'm able to fix this, if I'm able to fix this, then you'll want to make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. So the question now becomes, am I still going to be able to achieve my goal of $200,000 profit this year? So we're looking at January through September. The profit so far, all together combined, is $88,255. I was hoping to be at $100,000 at this point. In October, November, and December, during Q4, those months are referred to as Q4, you can make over again what you made January through September. Now, with that being said, it looks like I'm going to come in more like $170,000 profit. I'm not complaining, but that is still not what my goal was. That's not what I was setting out to achieve this year. So I still have $111,744 to go in order to make that goal. September's progress is really what messed me up here. Now I'm going to reveal that money-making niche that was responsible for a lot of the orders that I received in August and in early September. And it is part of the reason why I would have some decline in September. Being a former fourth grade teacher, I'm in the teaching niche. That is such a powerful niche. And if you are willing to build that niche up over time, and it's like that with many niches, if you're willing to put the things that would sell in that niche month after month, that niche will make you a lot of money at certain times of the year, but consistent money throughout the entire year. And the momentum in that niche will keep building month after month and year after year that you're in it, if you're consistently adding to that niche over time. So I'm in the teaching niche, and that niche does very well at the end of school. I always take a dip in June, and then it builds back up for back to school. And then after everyone's back to school, it takes another dip starting about the first, second week of September, because people are done buying their back to school items. If you are new at this and you did hit it big in the teaching niche this summer, please don't be worried that you're taking a dip now. And keep in mind that this can apply to other times of the year in whatever niches that you're in. It takes time to round out your shop. So you just need to be generous with yourself and kind to yourself and let yourself round out your shop. My first year doing this, I took a big dip in September and I thought, oh no, what am I doing wrong? But it makes completely sense. I was selling a lot of end of year school things because I had been adding to the teacher niche for months, and then finally started to sell stuff toward the end of the school year. Then sold a lot of stuff when it was back to school, and then did a plummet, and I didn't have enough holiday stuff to pick up the slack yet. And so this is natural. It's going to go up and down. And then you just need to reflect to try to identify if you have a niche that's doing that, and what other niches can you start adding to so that next year that month can be better for you. If you are interested in building out the teacher niche and you're looking for a little extra organization, a little extra guidance, I did put a resource together, and it's got lots of things in it that would be very helpful to anyone trying to build that niche out over time. I have lots of product ideas in there that go really well for teachers, that sell well for teachers. I have lots of lists about who to target, obviously teachers, but there's tons of adjacent niches that go along with teachers. And so I have lists of that, and then I have lists of different types of teachers and different types of staff positions and positions related to schools that would all go really well and work well together if you're adding to the teacher niche. And then you can also view by list or by calendar view what you should be starting to design in that month, what you should be continuing to design in from the previous month, and what is due that month. You can look at that in a calendar view or in a list view. Next, let's cover the strategies that are in play in my shop. And these strategies are also things that are contributing to what's going on in September. Visual reminder that I plummeted in September all the way down to $7,464 profit from a month where I had over double that at $16,338 profit. Is this okay, and what am I going to do about it? And we're going to revisit this graphic in just a bit when we really do a comparison of growth over the years, but I want to show you September here from 2022. I had a profit of $10,867, and this year at $7,464. So not only did I plummet from last month, it's a plummet from last year, the same month, which does not, or I don't think has ever actually happened to me in my shop. First things first, we've got to address the listing. Always my mind goes to my listing behaviors if I'm seeing a decline, because that is something that I have control of, and I want to make sure that everything is okay in that department. It dawned on me that right now I have an interesting listing pattern as we compare it from last year and what was happening in my shop last year. In 2022, January through August, I was working on Etsy part-time because I was still a school teacher. In August, I quit my teaching job and I went into Etsy full-time. So September, October, November, and December, I upped my game. I was really scared when I quit my job. I was all in on Etsy, and I spent all day, every day doing market research and listing. And my shop grew wildly during Q4 that year in 2022, last year. Now moving into 2023, I was back to part-time on Etsy starting January because I started my YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel it's about 50% of my work time is spent on YouTube and 50% of my work time is spent on my Etsy shop. YouTube is a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. Just like Etsy. Etsy winds up being a lot more work than you think it's going to be. But when you're growing something, it takes a lot of work in the beginning, especially. So I went down, it's part-time that I'm working on Etsy. It has been a constant battle for me, an internal battle, because when I'm working on my YouTube stuff, I feel guilty about not working on my Etsy stuff. And when I'm working on my Etsy stuff, I feel like guilty about not working on my YouTube stuff, especially as the YouTube channel has grown and my goals have become bigger and bigger with my YouTube things also. But my listing is very similar. So most months I'm getting out about 150 listings, and that's very similar to what I was doing while I was teaching, maybe just a tad less. Maybe I was at more at like 100 or 115 when I was teaching. So this is very, it's very similar, but now we've hit September, and by the time September hit, I had quit my job in August. I was full-time Etsy, and I was crazy listing, where this year I'm falling more and more behind with that as my YouTube things grow, and the amount of attention that YouTube has been taking has been increasing. So to try to bring that full loop for you, Etsy works on momentum. I had an incredible amount of momentum that I got going last year, and I'm adding to it this year, but not at the same rate. So I'm not propelling that as forward as I could. I'm not growing my holiday niches as much as I'd like to. Now, with that in mind, we all have to make choices and we all have to make sacrifices. We can't be good at everything all of the time. They say you can't be good at more than 3 things at a time. So I am going to try to keep juggling my YouTube ball and my Etsy ball as well as I can. I have been producing 2 videos every single week. I am going to go down during this initial part of Q4 to 1 video a week. I've been putting videos out every Wednesday and every Friday at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and I'm always in the chat. I'm going to continue with my Wednesday video. That one's a promise. And then Fridays, sometimes I'll be able to get the Friday video up, and other times I won't because I'll be designating that time to my listing. And you want to join us in the chat, definitely do. We're able to chat back and forth live when the video premieres. And I'll take a quick second to say hi to my friends that are always in there. I've got regulars that I enjoy seeing and chatting with, so you're always welcome to join us. There are 2 more things that I believe have impacted my shop's growth this September. We're going to cover ads, but stick around because I have something to say about break-even pricing, which I think might be the biggest factor. We're in my ads stats here, and I have it filtered for August 1st through September 30th. And you'll take a look just above me is the revenue. Revenue in the shop for items that sold through ads was $41,650.38. I have spent, and I'll have that just above me here, $12,545.21. My ads budget is at $1,000 a day, and I am spending more between $150 and $350 a day, depending on how much I'm going in to monitor them. So when we break that down, I get to keep from my revenue about 28% usually winds up being my profit. So when I take $41,650 from that revenue number and multiply it by 28%, I get around the number that I'm keeping as my profit from that. But then I have to go look at my ad spend, and since I spent $12,545 on the ads, was it enough to cover that? And it was not. I came out negative $883 for August and September. So I started recently going in and really cleaning up my ads because I had let them get out of control. I've cleaned them up before, and I will absolutely get them profitable again. So mark my words, by the time I'm doing my hopefully October numbers, but definitely my November numbers, I'm getting this turned around and we're going to fix it up. I break that process down for you in this video here, and I will leave it linked down below if you're looking for more information and guidance about ads. It really all comes down to three things. One, being consistent about looking in on your ads to see which ads are losing you money, going into them, and looking for two things: irrelevant terms to turn off, but also terms that are too broad, and turning those off as well. If you consistently do that, then you will turn your ads around and you'll be able to get them profitable as long as you are running ads on the right types of things, which I also explain in this video here. So I'll leave them both linked down below. And the fourth thing that I think is affecting my growth this past September, along with one, the teacher niche having a natural decline in September, two, I'm not putting out as many listings as I was at this time last year because I was full-time last year on Etsy. Three, my ads have eaten up part of my profits. And four, my break-even pricing strategy. Break-even pricing is when you list your item and you put pricing that just gets you to break about even. Maybe you're a little under and you're losing a little, or you're a little over and you're covering everything, but you're really not making much money on the items at all. You might be wondering, why would anyone do that? You want to have profit worked into your pricing. The reason you might decide to do break-even pricing is because if you can get some quick sales and some quick views, some quick visits, some good interactions with a listing, that listing could go on to make you a lot more money much faster than if you did not get those interactions with the listing, because you're getting it worked into the algorithm. The faster you could do that, the better, because the stronger those interactions are going to work in the algorithm toward making Etsy want to put your listing out in front of more people. Here's one example of an item that I placed in my shop at break-even pricing, and I listed it again with profit pricing. The only difference between these two items is the pricing strategy that I was using. The mock-up photos, the description, the SEO, your search engine optimization, your title and your tags, all of that completely the same. The only difference was the pricing strategy. If you'd like to know more about this, I have a video entirely about this. I documented the whole experiment that I ran in my shop, and I will link it down below. I had lots of results like this. This is not the most impressive result that I pulled from my shop to share with you today. This was a pretty average result with the break-even pricing versus the profit pricing. The idea is, after you do get a couple sales through your break-even pricing listing, you start bumping it up in price until it's profit pricing. And then all of the sales that are coming after that, you're making a profit on. But you just were breaking even for those first couple of sales to kind of get it launched in the algorithm and to entice those initial customers to go ahead and interact with it. And I think that this is the biggest thing impacting my shop, is because I went ahead and dropped all of my holiday items from last year down to break-even pricing. I am selling holiday items, and lots of them every single day, but they're all at break-even pricing, and I'm leaving it that way for a little while to just get them reworked into the algorithm. I wanted to make sure I was really competitive coming into Q4, and we'll see if I regret it or not. It'll be an experiment, and I'll share all of the results with you guys. So all of my new things going out are at break-even pricing, and I went into all of my best sellers from last year, everything that was selling well, and I dropped all of it to break-even pricing. A lot of my things from last year have been copied, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to get in there and compete against the people that copied my items. I plan on not letting them get many of my sales. Now, the reason I really think that this is the biggest instigator of the September profit being so much lower, according to our graphic we're looking here, I made $10,867 profit last September. This September, I was down to $7,464. But when I go to look at my orders show that last September I had 687 orders for the month. This September I had 952. So my orders are still up. They're not as up as I'd like them to be because I'm trying to double this year, and they are not double, not even close. But according to that order volume, I should have really made a couple $1,000s more profit this month than I did. I don't claim to know exactly what I'm doing. I don't. But I do think that it's a great strategy, and I did already employ it, and so I've already done it. So we will find out during the month of November and December if I'm able to really climb up out of this when all of my stuff starts going back to profit pricing. Let's see what happens. If I can more than double on those months, then we can say that this pricing strategy probably had partly to do with that. And the last thing I think you'll enjoy looking at here is our comparison of profit over time. These are the kind of numbers that have always excited me, especially when I was just starting out. Here you are looking at a graphic that shows you 2021's profits, 2022's profits, and 2023's profits. I'm not going to go over all of the numbers with you. You could take a screenshot and really take a look. But if you look at January 2021 was $100, and that was my 4th month on Etsy. In 2022, 1 year later, the profit was nearly $3,000, and this year it was nearly $7,000. That is some amazing growth from 1 year to the next. Now, let's skip down to the months that we've been focusing on here, August and September. In August of 2021, there was an exciting climb up, and I made $4,062 that August. In 2022, I made $6,791. And in 2023, I made $16,338, which is incredibly exciting. So then let's go look at September. I had made $3,757 in 2021, $10,867 in 2022, and sadly, for all the reasons we just chatted about, down to $7,467 in 2023. I don't care where you're at in the growth of your shop. If those kinds of numbers don't excite you, I don't know what could possibly excite you. If we put the work in, this is what's possible. Sure, we're going to have dips. We're going to experiment with things, that we're going to get involved in niches that don't work out the way that we think they're going to work out. Get through that, muddle your way through, reflect. Try to figure out what was going on, what attributed to whatever success you had, what attributed to the things not working out the way you had hoped. Don't give up. Be persistent. We got this. We've got 2 months. Your choices will impact your Etsy shop more over the next couple of weeks than they will any other time during the year, because it's Q4. So just get down in there, get dirty, dig through the trenches. Let's get through to the other side together. Let's go get your ad strategy on point here, but not until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away.